Have you ever wondered, how did I get here? I've been stranded on some island for many months now. Time flies, guys.
When the going gets uncertain, embrace uncertainty.
But seriously guys, stop taking yourself so seriously. I'm about to tell you a story.
With some downs, with some ups, with some downs again.
But really, we create the meaning. There is no meaning to anything unless we create it. You guys who are meeting me for the first time, I'm an Icelandic Chinese fine artist. I make weekly videos for you guys, hoping to inspire you to be more yourself, more unique, and more creative. If you're interested in seeing my artwork, check out my Instagram. And if you want to support me and get access to exclusive videos and videos 1 week ahead of time, check out my Patreon. Let the adventure begin. Who am I? How did I get here? Why am I in Japan? I'll be attempting to answer some of these questions on my long-ass walk to the clinic to get an appointment for a test. Apparently you need to get a test 3 days before your flight to China, which is where I'm going, because that's where my studio's at, in case you guys didn't know. So I'm heading to the clinic and I'll be answering some things in snippets in the rain. Umbrella, Ella, It's a pretty notable street, Omete-sando. Looks so good in the rain, yes! Guys, we are hitting Harajuku, which is like a pretty great street. It's very famous. There is a specific style associated with Harajuku. But as you can tell, it's raining, so I don't think anyone's gonna be there. I feel crazy talking to myself. Alright, this is Harajuku. I don't have time to go into this street right now.
Don't you guys miss when flying used to be easy and all you had to figure out was like a good deal for a flight? Now there's just nothing convenient about it. It's the biggest hassle and we all dread it. I think a lot of you guys want to actually, we all want to travel, I'm sure anyone watching this right now is like, yes, I really want to travel.
October and we got Christmas lights already.
This tower changes color frequently and always looks super beautiful.
We have really fun sidewalks. Check that out. Or is that called a sidewalk? I don't know what those are called. You know what I mean.
Speaking of sidewalks, I ended up getting information about the PCR test that day and I decided to add in other footages because rain just doesn't make a city beautiful, let's be real. So here's the sidewalk in Shibuya and let's continue with answering some of the questions about how Japan really is and why I'm here. The clips in this video is going to be just as scattered as my brain works, and so I think it's still an accurate representation of what I've been going through, considering that you're going to be watching this from my perspective. So just bear with me on the scatteredness and hopefully the visuals just look cool and gives you a better idea of how Japan is anyway. So let's rewind a little bit. I've been in Japan now for almost 9 months. I've been doing long distance with my boo who lives in Japan, and that's pretty much the reason why I came. When the borders in China were closing in early February, I was like, oh, okay, that's scary. I don't know when it's gonna open again. So I just jumped on a flight, no plans. Actually, it really kind of went against a lot of plans that I had. Well, 2020's been a planless year for all of us. It's just nothing's really gone the way that we've expected, so I can't really complain. Anyway, so I came to Japan and I've been here now for 9 months. I got 2 visa extensions because the borders continued to stay closed in China and there was no way for me to go back. And now they just opened and that is why I will be going back. Somehow I've managed to make my stay here productive. I've been creating work almost daily since being in Japan. I created a bunch of new work. I didn't actually come here with art. So I just made new stuff and then I even had a solo exhibition for 2 months here with the stuff that I made during quarantine. There are just a couple images of some of the stuff that I made. I was also featured in 2 magazines and did a couple interviews here in Japan, and I'm just gonna be showing you guys more clips of Japan now while also showing you guys a bunch of stuff that I've made here. I've made way more. It would take a really long time for me to actually show all of the images. If you're interested in seeing the stuff, just check out my Instagram. I've been pretty good about posting stuff relatively on time, but yeah.
It's also been super cool being stuck in Japan in the sense that I've actually been traveling a lot in Japan and exploring so many amazing places.
So Japan's actually super convenient when it comes to traveling. They have really convenient, what's like another word? I feel like I keep using the word convenient. Comfortable train systems so that you can basically get to any destination pretty fast. This clip in the background is actually at Yamanakako Lake, which is the closest village to Fuji. It's super beautiful, but usually the weather is awful, so we were really lucky to catch even just like 2 hours of nice weather there. And it's also a nice village for hot springs, so that's another cool thing about Japan. There's a lot of hot springs, and you basically go in there like naked. They separate the men from the women, and yeah, it's a pretty nice experience. Reminds me a little bit of Iceland when it comes to that. Here's another place that we went to, Okinawa. Okinawa is insane. It's in the south of Japan. Probably one of the favorite places I went to in Japan. Just gorgeous. The sea is super blue. We actually arrived to Okinawa when it was quarantine, so there wasn't that much to do because all the places were closed, so we just kind of like booked a room in this hotel with a really sick pool for a couple hours. It was really amazing. We did other stuff too, but this was one of the highlights. And here's Kawaguchiko, which is probably the place in the middle of nowhere that I actually would want to live in or rent a house for a little bit and stay. It's also close to Fuji. It's a little bit further than Yamanakako, if I remember correctly, but you can see Fuji more clearly. It's pretty high up in the skies, so like the weather is still pretty rainy, but not as rainy as Yamanakako. I don't know, I'm totally butchering it, but it looks super beautiful. Like, the views though, the views!
I've actually posted this footage in another earlier video, but it's just so beautiful and I just wanted you guys to see again.
Quick reminder of how long I've been here. Check out the sakura tree. Like, what the hell? I've been here so long. And here's Fuji, seen from Enoshima, which is like next to Kamakura, basically, by the beach. Contrast that to Fuji, seen from Yamanakako, when she finally decided to show herself.
This video has basically turned into a places to go when you're in Japan kind of video. I feel like the way that I've kind of presented my experience here in Japan to you guys has been kind of similar to how 2020 has been for me anyway. It's just been very confusing. I wish I took a little bit more footage and did more vlogs while I was here, but honestly, I just didn't process what the hell was happening. I mean, I got 2 visa extensions, but no one would have assumed that I would have actually stayed here for so long. So it's kind of felt a lot like taking it day by day, week by week, and it's just been a slow year. I'm sure you guys can relate. You know, I started quarantining before all of y'all in China, and it's just been crazy. Like, I've figured out different ways to actually show you guys what I do during this time. So now I'm making these videos, and I've been navigating that space as well. Well, how has it been like for me to actually be stuck in Japan? I feel like it's a really complicated thing to answer. It's really difficult to summarize an entire country, an entire culture into a video. You could literally spend your entire life talking about just a culture. Like, so I don't know what to say. I lived here for 2 years when I was a kid, so I feel quite familiar with Japanese culture, although I don't speak the language, so it's definitely an outsider perspective. Also, I've spent all my time pretty much working inside. I don't really see people that much, but I can say that when I do try to go and actually get something done, I'm gonna get my business cards printed, and then later on I was trying to get some like collector certificates printed so I could ship to China. Things just move pretty slow over here, and I lived in New York for a couple of years, so like I'm comparing it to that mostly because I'm used to just people being, you know, working really fast, but for some reason in Japan things just move slower and they like to kind of waste time. I feel really bad saying that. They're not direct. If you have a direct request, they will not have a direct answer, and they follow the rules by the book. Like, man, this is like one of the things that I dislike the most here. So for instance, we went to a pizza place and we were like, okay, I would like to order a pizza. Could you add some mushrooms to the margarita? Like, how much will that be to whatever? And it became this huge thing. Next thing you know, there were like 6 people surrounding our table. It was this big ordeal because no one had ever asked for that and they didn't know how to because it wasn't on the menu. That's just like a small example, but this kind of just happens with anything. If you go to a restaurant 1 minute after last order, then they will just be like, sorry, last order was a minute ago. Are you not trying to make any money? So little things like that. Also, you will never see couples holding hands ever, and if you do, they're probably Chinese.
Do you think that you've seen drunk people?
I don't really see the point in going too much into complaining about those little minuscule details. It's just like a difference in culture, and there's a lot of differences. Like, it's an island. I mean, they're very isolated, and I don't really think that you have to compare something with other cultures because everything kind of exists on its own. And I feel like if you are comparing it or using another language to describe it, you're already doing it injustice. That's my 2020 in like a nutshell. There's a lot more I feel like I'm forgetting, but vlogs are hard for me because I mean, I just don't think in a linear way, so I don't know how I'm supposed to organize my freaking vlogs in a way that makes sense. I'm trying to improve, and if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments section below. If you like, I don't know, what you've seen so far, even though it's kind of messy and all over the place, hit subscribe, and thank you for the time of your day, and yeah, until next week, guys. Ciao!